Hello snowboarders of the internet, I am your host TC, and today we will be reviewing the Slash Happy Place. This board is equipped with the cam rock profile, meaning that you have camber in between your feet, a flat zone underneath each foot, and then rocker on the tip and tail. What that's going to do is going to allow you to have that power and the drive in between your feet with that play on the tip and tail to allow it to be a little bit more soft for buttering and jibbing and pressing on ledges and rails. This board comes in a 135, 142, 146, 148, 150, 152, 154, 155 wide, 156, 158, 159 wide, and 163 wide. I rode this board at Copper Mountain where it was a nice sunny day, but the conditions were less than ideal, where sheets of ice everywhere, little death cookies just scattered throughout, even a little bit of rock just scattered throughout as well. Nice little peppering in there. But I used my Ride Fuse boots and my Jones Mercury bindings. This board is a little bit softer than the middle of the road, where that tip and tail is where you're going to really notice it. Especially at high speeds, you will feel that nose chatter a little bit. But that being said, right in between your feet, you do feel very stable. You are still able to foot steer it though, so when you're approaching rails or jumps or any features like that, you can micro adjust just so you're on the right line. Now, when it comes to stability, this board is pretty stable at medium to slower speeds, where it holds an edge extremely well. And it honestly surprised me in that sense because of how soft this board actually is, but you are able to rip turns on it. The Happy Place is really easy to ollie. You don't have to put a lot of work into it, but that being said, you're not going to get a lot out of it. Sure, you'll still be able to ollie those slow signs, but you're not going to make it over the lift shack or anything like that. It is nice and smooth when you're taking off jumps and when you're landing on jumps. I did, however, feel when you're spinning, you better land bolts, otherwise it does feel a little washy just because of how soft that tail is and how soft that nose is. This board definitely excels when you're buttering it, where you have a huge zone on the nose and the tail to play with, where you can really press into it. Now, I will say if you get a little too far over the handlebars there, it's not going to hold you and you will just wash out on it. But apart from that, it does hold a press extremely well, extremely easy to hold that press with. The other thing is, it's not going to spring you out of your presses. You're going to do a little bit more work to power out of those presses as well. Now, when you're on rails, it is extremely easy to lock in, where pretty much where you land on this board is where it's going to sit when you're sliding sideways. So you land under that front foot, it's going to stay under that front foot because of that flat zone. If you go right in between the feet, it'll just hold there because you have that nice camber bubble right underneath your foot. Now, when you're pressing on a ledge or on a rail, it feels like a cheat code. It feels like a rocker board. You can literally pick up your front foot and still hold that press, where you don't have to fight the camber or anything like that. It just wants to hold and is very comfortable. I was extremely surprised with how well this board carved actually, where, I mean, at high speeds, like I said before, you're getting a little bit flap there in the nose and the tail, but really when you're holding an edge at like slower speeds, it is really fast edge to edge. And when you're at those medium speeds and those medium sized carves, it's extremely comfortable and it holds the edge extremely well, where you're not sliding through those icy sections or those chundery sections. It just holds and you're confident in your carve. When you get to the longer drawn out carves at high speeds, it's not going to be the greatest, but it is still able to Euro carve at slower speeds. When you get down to the bottom of the run, you can still rail on that toe side and make it all the way around without any problems. The ideal rider for this board is somebody that is spending 90%, if not more, of their time in the park. I mean, the only time they're getting outside of the park is when you have a really good POW day, or it's after 2:30 and nothing good happens in the park after 2:30. So pretty much that park rider that really likes to press, butter, jib everything, or just turn the whole mountain into their park. Personally, this board put me in my happy place. See what I did there? No, but honestly, I really enjoyed this board. Normally, I don't like boards this soft because I'm like, yeah, it's soft, you can butter around on it. That's pretty much where I draw the line, where I'm like, yeah, okay, it's a one-trick pony. This thing really does hold an edge well. You do You are able to butter on it and all that stuff, which is great. But I think this board would just be awesome like riding in those spring park conditions when you're taking hot laps. Like I really do want to ride this thing again, just on a straight up park spring day. It would just be amazing. Comparable boards, the Capita Super DOA, the Ride Zero, and the Jones Tweaker. Binding recommendations, the Jones Meteorite, the Union Strata, and the Solomon Hologram. I've been your host TC, and this has been my review of the Slash Happy Place. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you own one? Are you going to buy one? Leave a comment down below. I want to know what you guys have to say. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, click that bell, turn on those notifications so you don't miss any new content we have coming out. If you want to support us further, head on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP, where I could explain it here, but we have a great video over there getting into it really in depth. And as always, guys, I've been your host TC. I'll see you out there.